This is Things You Might Have Heard, and I am Jay Cleveland Payne, and I'm presenting to you at this moment, right now, about to present you at least 8 stories that you deemed as conversational during yesterday's feed. They're the latest in information, current events, politics, and pop culture news from yesterday, and we're going to get to you in this news headline that is recorded to you or beamed to you live at 5:50 a.m. Central Time every single weekday morning, and you can listen to it replays whenever you feel like you get into it. Now, the queue has 8 stories, as I said, vetted by you. We'll explain how that all worked out in a bit after we go through all the headlines. Plus, we'll give you some fun stuff for the day because we want you to start off the day with fun stuff because that's how we do things right here. We're going to just sort of pretend like yesterday didn't happen. It's out there. You can watch it. It's really, really weird, but we had some sort of weird sort of gremlins. Today, less gremlins, more fun, more actual new stuff coming up. So 8 stories on the way. Go by our website. This is a conversationproject.com. More details on how we get things done. And you can, of course, email us at the conversation inbox at gmail.com to tell me how to get things done because that's how we work around here. 8 stories as I promised, and they are on the way right now, starting with the story at headline number 1. No particular order as they're presented. In fact, we'll tell you what story is the number 1 story for the day and probably for the year. And I'm not surprised. Let's get to the first headline, though. And that headline reads, King Charles diagnosed with cancer. Yesterday we got the news that King Charles was diagnosed with cancer. Now he went into the hospital in the same time essentially that Kate, the Duchess, went in for her mysterious abdominal but planned procedure. King Charles went in a bit more transparent. He's going in for some treatment for some enlarged prostate, nothing that was necessarily bad. And then there was announced that he has cancer. Now, what cancer is he has, no one's actually said yet, but this is something that's very serious. In fact, he's already set his schedule back a bit where William's going to step in and take over some of his duties as a royal. His job as a royal is just basically show up and be places. And so William will do some of those things. So doing, I guess, triple duty essentially because Kate's not doing so much work. And also the King Charles III is not as well. We'll see how this thing's going to play out going forward. And hopefully looking for very, very, very quick recovery for King Charles. Now, the irony thing and sort of in the back of your head, sort of, ironic thing is his mother was in the throne for so long, held the throne for so long, and actually dealt with bouts of cancer in later years as well. King Charles only being the king in about a year or so far, are dealing with the health scare after waiting so long to get this throne. So we are hoping for a long reign, I guess. We're not British, so we don't particularly care over here so much. But with all the craziness that is the royal family, what's going on over there, we want something stable to look forward to, and that stability. That's what we're looking for here. Our next headline, number 2 for this morning, reads like this. Lionel Messi no-show ignites booting and calls for refunds at Inter Miami match in Hong Kong. Inter Miami, one of the MLS American League teams of all places, is out there doing some national tours, doing a long trip in Hong Kong and in China and in the Asian countries, doing some friendlies. And because Lionel Messi is the most important figure in soccer and he's playing in this little minor league thing in America, everybody's going nuts for it. So a chance to see Lionel Messi doing some friendlies around the world is a big deal. Except yesterday, or 2 days prior, he didn't play. Both Messi and Luis Suarez did not play in the friendly match against Miami there with no explanation given. Essentially, they were being told they're sick. In fact, Messi is supposed to play coming up when they go to China, the mainland, fairly soon. We will see what happens going on with that one further. But when you start almost marking an international incident by just not playing, it gets a big deal. Personal story, I went to my first baseball game with my uncle back when I was like 6, and it was the Yankees. He was a big Yankees fan. And one of the things I remember vividly, because I was 6, was the fact that Reggie, just Reggie, now I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening. I guess I'm having a brain freeze. Reggie Jackson, struck out and then didn't come back out and visit the game. I remember so well that I can't pull his name on my head. I guess I'm that old. But Reggie Jackson, who was the biggest man in baseball at the time, playing for the Yankees, went out there, struck out, kind of got snippy, and didn't come back out in the field. So my first chance to see a major baseball player in a major baseball arena was snuffed out pretty quickly. Those things can be big deals for kids and adults alike. Let's move on to the story that's at number 3 for this morning. And that story headline reads like this. Tracy Chapman earns Rapturous standing ovation after rare live performance of Fast Car with Luke Combs. This is, of course, now a 2-day-old story, but Tracy Chapman performed on stage with their now country single, formerly just the R&B blues single, Fast Car. And one of the things this time last year, we were talking about the controversy of Luke Combs singing a woman's song, singing a song so bluesy, singing Tracy Chapman's song. Nobody's complaining now these days. Tracy Chapman gets a big award, another big payday, as this is the first time a woman has won an award on the country charts. We've talked about other black women, I should say. We're talking about black men who write country music that don't want their names in there because of the controversy, if you will. But this came up to be a really big thing to listen to the two sing the song together at the Grammys. If you missed it, check the clips on YouTube. Go to however you get your videos. It is something that is to behold, and we're very happy for Tracy Chapman. New life to what's a very old song, a classic song, a song with a lot of meaning, but of course getting more meaning, new meaning to a new audience right now, and a country audience at that. Our next headline, Bowen Yang shades SNL over controversial Nikki Haley cameo. So Bowen Yang has been sort of blasting sort of the people who've been showing up at Saturday Night Live. A lot of people at the parties. First, apparently he had some beef with Dave Chappelle at a party last week or week beforehand, and he's basically has issues going forward with some of the guests coming up. But Nikki Haley popping up as the woman surprised or a concerned voter from South Carolina asking Donald Trump questions at the town hall, the fake town hall, of course. Apparently didn't sit well with the bulk of the cast, or many members of the cast, I should say. In some Instagram posts, Bowen Yang sorts of points out that some cast members weren't exactly all that touchy-feely with Miss Haley in the actual cast for the night, in the actual skit going forward. Not so much, well, pretty much for part of it for the politics, and part of it's just because it just seemed like a weird sort of flex. It didn't really make any sense. Let's go to the story that's at number 5 this morning. Jam Master Jay dabbled in drug sales to make ends meet, witness testifies. So we're finding more details, and this is what happens when your heroes are taken down by things like this. Jam Master Jay, born Ralph McGraw, is not on trial because he has passed, but the people on trial for his murder are trying to tell their story to get themselves out of issues. And the big issue they're saying is that Jay, or Jason Mizell, actually or I guess I had it backwards. Jason Mizell, Jam Master Jay, I'm reading it backwards. Ralph McGraw, who's on trial for this, is testifying that as a former drug dealer, he actually worked with Jay in his side gig, his own side hustle of selling drugs to make ends meet. That's essentially what he's saying. To make a little extra money in older age, as Run DMC is, blowing up in sort of the retro stage, but he's not Reverend Run with a reality show, and he's not Daryl McDaniels doing his talking tours and talking about other things. He's Jam Master Jay. He's doing producing, he's doing work, but not making the money, not getting the appeal, not getting the visuals that other folks are doing. So Jam Master Jay, also born as Jason Mizell, essentially were out there and doing things going on. Now his godson and childhood friend have been charged with his murder, so that's what's going on. But essentially, it was basically a bad drug deal, not so much a stick up, which is being out there. This is something we didn't want to know, didn't want to see. We'll see more of it, unfortunately, going forward. Next headline: CNN axes Chris Licht's cursed morning show after Don Lemon, Kaitlan Collins exit. And this is a sad thing to see, because I actually prefer CNN over to the other networks just because the way they do news, if you will. They have their bent, but they're not quite as bad as the other ones. And I actually like the format of this morning, the way it goes so far. It's essentially now it's 2 folks, but it was 3 folks chatting back and forth. The big issue, the elephant in the room, the lemon we all looked at, was Don Lemon, and just kind of how weird he was going from there, being the Don Lemon stuff, making it the Don Lemon show as opposed to the CNN This Morning show, with Lemon being fired and then Kaitlan Collins moving on. Actually, Kaitlan Collins moved on to do other things and got pushed to nighttime to promote her, and then Lemon being fired officially. Now it's Poppy Harlow hosting a show with Phil Mattingly, which should be doing well, but the viewership is not coming. CNN is their third in the mornings if you count those three, and then there's other options out there. I also watch the News Nation show, which lost a host this last couple weeks as well. Don't know the story about that. Just in the mix of things I watch every morning. We will now see an extra hour of early start, so Casey Hunt will wear those weird jackets over her sweatsuits for an extra hour, and then New Day, or I'm sorry, what they're calling the CNN, the long show where there's still three guys wandering around, is going to come through and come in an hour early and go for 4 hours. It it is what it is. The show's not doing well, so they have to do something with it. And unfortunately, I think Phil Manley just literally moved from Washington to New York, so that's the business, unfortunately. Let's move on to the story at number 7 for this morning. U.S. porn actor who advocates for Palestinians visits Iran on trip acknowledged by Tehran. Now, the next two stories are porn star stories, so just deal with it. This is American porn actress, and she hasn't been named in this thing, but Tehran is essentially acknowledging that there's an American woman who stars in porn just going to advocate for the Palestinians visiting Iran and talking about things. State Department has warned Americans to avoid travel to Iran due to risk of wrongful detention. If anyone's being wrongfully detained, it's going to be this woman, but she's out there speaking for the Palestinian cause in Iran. I think they're going to use this as a bargaining chip. Not so much to, imprison her, but just to kind of go nanny, nanny, boo, boo, check out who's actually doing this stuff. The next story is tragic, though. The next story is extremely sad. So quick look at the embassy there, or what, let me see that there. Adult film star Emily Willis reportedly hospitalized over overdose. In this article, we have issues or information on Emily Willis, who's 25 years old, who's reportedly in critical condition following an overdose, treated in a rehabilitation center in Malibu. And that's basically all we have because it's all we really need. Why is this story in here? It's in here for clicks, to be honest. I do this for clicks to get some attention to what's going on. Unfortunately, this is so far by leaps and bounds, even with all the Taylor Swift weirdness, the largest responding story of the year so far. And we're only 5 weeks in, but I think this is going to take a very, very big Taylor Swift thing, such as a Taylor Swift Travis Kelce engagement for you guys to jump on this one like you jumped on this one. This one's a big one. It's going to come back to haunt us this week and at the end of the year. We will see this as a top story for February, definitely. Let's move on to the errors, apologies, and omissions part. The first apology is for just bad Wi-Fi, bad connection, bad all sorts of things yesterday. Didn't get a lot of things done because we couldn't really do any clip stuff. Everything we recorded skipped and mumbled, and especially this thing, which was all over the place. So the internet gods are not good in our building yesterday, so today we're apparently a little bit better. Thank you so much. Our admitted story today, story we're not talking about because we don't have time for it, and we're really running late today. Less stories and more stuff, I guess, mumbling on the day. Kristi Noem shares vision for America in new book amid speculation about running as Trump's VP. That's it. The governor of South Carolina, Kristi Noem, has a book out, and it's coming out. We're coming out in the spring, and it's going to talk about her vision, and it's coming out not as she's running for anything larger, because governor of South Carolina is as long as she can go for right now, since people running for president. But it's coming out as she's basically being seen as the best pick for Donald Trump, or Donald Trump's best unlikely pick, because she's fiery, she runs the state, she's a woman, and she's kind of cute. All those things I kind of go for Sarah Huckabee Sanders here in Arkansas, but the sort of kind of cute thing, I said that loud, I'm sorry for that, but it's one of those things because Trump is Trump and it is what's going on. Sarah Huckabee Sanders also doesn't have a new book out, and she's had some actual issues to deal with. So Kristi Noem right now flying free and clear of any serious issues. So she looks like she's going to be the VP unless Tim Scott can kiss even more ass to make this thing work going forward. Our teaser story for the day is a very somber one. So let's quickly talk about what to do to be a teaser story. Number one, you just follow our feeds. Our teaser story is something we picked that we can talk about going forward. You follow our feeds for Facebook and Twitter, and you make the teaser story or any story that we post every 50 minutes on our feeds a story that we can talk about. Today on Tuesday, going through Friday, we'll give you 8 stories in the Conversation Projects, things you might have heard. And with that, these 8 stories come from the top 15 stories of the day. So you engage in a story just by seeing it on our feeds, liking it, loving, hating it, literally engage in the stories online. And the higher score gets, better chance we have of talking about it the next iteration. This one we will talk about. I'm more than positive we'll talk about this one as people get washed over this one. It is Toby Keith, larger than life country music star, dies at 62. Toby Keith was diagnosed with stomach cancer about 2 years ago and has been publicly fighting it and publicly performing when he can. Passed away very peacefully at his home on yesterday, and we're getting the news very early this morning. As I'm working on this morning stuff, it pops in here. So otherwise, it had been in the feed for this morning. We will more than likely, since it came out so late, talk about this again tomorrow with more deeper details. But Toby Keith, country star, has passed away at the age of 62. Let's talk about our featured sponsor for this morning, and this is going to be YouTube TV. YouTube TV is a great way to cut the cord and get your TV now. Since many people, I won't say most, many people are no longer using cable for their mass gathering of TV because the way all the apps works these days. YouTube TV is a great gathering of channels. It allows you to get all the big major national channels out there. It allows you to get all the local channels because they have local channels that are tied into your locality. In fact, one of the odder things about this, which does kind of make me mad, is if you are out of town for the weekend and you want to see something on your DVR, you've got to wait until it gets recorded in the local venue. It gets weird. It's just a weird thing. But other than that, it's awesome. I've been using YouTube TV for essentially the length of its life, and we have had no issues. Rate increases, notwithstanding, which happens with all of them. But you get all the major television shows you're looking for. You get personal DVRs for 6 different accounts. You get live local TV. You get a chance to do replays and back things up and do all that stuff. You get access to things inside your stream for YouTube TV, such as for Max and all the big apps there as well. And when football comes back around, Sunday Ticket is belonging to YouTube TV, not to anybody else. Even though Travis Kelce says you can get it without your satellite. Yeah, you can get it with a subscription. That's really YouTube TV. Check it out at thisisconversationproject.com/YouTube TV. This is conversationproject.com/YouTube TV. Oh, by the way, save $45 the first 3 months. You're welcome. We're using YouTube TV here in the home. We're actually going to use it, to promote it, to watch the air quotes big game on Sunday at church using my my subscription to broadcast it on TV at the church, and we're gonna have some fun with it. So you should check it out right now. Oh, save $45 first 3 months. Did I say that already? Yeah, I said it already. You should have gotten that one, and if you didn't, save $45 on your first 3 months with YouTube TV using our affiliate link, of course. So it's actually 30 plus 15, so it's extra $15 using our link. So check it out today. The Conversation Project lives online at thisistheconversationproject.com, where you can find more details about us, the Conversation Project, and how you can be more engaging with us and help us out going forward. Very quickly, the simple things we say every single day are follow the feeds on Facebook and Twitter, facebook.com/thisisconversationproject, and twitter.com/th_conversation. Email us at the conversation inbox at gmail.com, and you can talk to us all you want to. Now, this is the month of love. It's Pledge Drive month. Here are some extra calls to action to get into that we won't go too long into because we're already going really long on the day. The website, we've said already, this is theconversationproject.com. Facebook and Twitter, our feeds are there. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. We have a podcast. Go to our website and click the link to get the podcast. You also subscribe and become a partner by going to the partnership page at the website or visiting us at buymeacoffee.com/JClevelandPayne or using J. Cleveland Payne in Venmo or Cash App because that's our handle there, my handle to get to that. We are looking to gather more of your love and more of your help and support this year, getting an extra $200, a new $200 of new monthly subscriptions to secure in the month of February. If you want to finally join in and be a part in the partnerships, check out the ways to do it, those ways. Quick hydration break. Yesterday it was the technology. Today it's just my body. My throat's barely not working with as well. So let's wrap this thing up and get it wrapped up with the fun stuff for today. We promise you fun stuff every single weekday morning. And here comes for today. We always start off with birthdays and the fun stuff, and birthdays we shall give to. Giving you love and screeches and a little to 62-year-old Axl Rose on the day. Now, if your childhood is essentially fading away from you because you remember Axl Rose being a band you listened to, or Guns N' Roses being a band you listened to first in maybe middle school and high school, then yes, your childhood is getting away from you as of 2024 and February 6th officially. Yesterday it was Tim Meadows, who was 63, I believe. Today is Axl Rose, who's 62. But Tim Meadows, I think, was 63. So while Tim Meadows being 63 may not seem all that weird, Axl Rose being 62 seems a little odd. Check his birth certificate. He is 62. Here's one that you may not want to remember. On this day back in 2020, the first COVID-19 death was recorded in the U.S. Although at the time, it was not confirmed to be COVID-19 until April 21st, because the mysterious virus that came over from China was starting to spread around the world. This was the first death that was officially from that actual virus, and no one knew what was going on until they could track it back literally months later to figure out that this was the first COVID-19 death back in 2020. So this very somber anniversary 4 years later, as we are not past COVID, but past COVID pandemic levels, to remind you that this thing happens, things happen, and this thing happened any other time. Let's get this wrapped up. Last thing, we're going to celebrate Frozen Yogurt Day. Froyo on the day. Today is the day to celebrate the sweet frozen treat that's a little less potent than ice cream, but not totally. So it's still sugary sweet, and still too much of it can make your tummy ache. But frozen yogurt, or Froyo, is becoming a rage. Has been a rage for a while. So get some Froyo today. That's it. That's all I got time for. That's all I can do today. This has been Things You Might Have Heard for Tuesday, February the 6th, 2024. Apologies and errors for mucking through today's episode, even though we had no technical issues. It was all me, all me. So sorry for that. We'll try to do better tomorrow and see what gremlin will get in the way for our Wednesday edition. So to make a Wednesday edition, it's very simple. Follow us on our feeds on Facebook and Twitter, and engage in the stories as they come down the line. Will we talk about Toby Keith? We'll talk about something else going down. Will we talk about more porn stars? Because we have more porn star stories in the feed lined up already, because they're there. We need the clicks, so we got to do that. We'll see what we talk about tomorrow in tomorrow's edition, 8 stories of top 15. And of course, follow our feeds. Consider becoming a partner. Email me at theconversationinbox@gmail.com. Stay stay limber, stay hydrated, stay on task. Love you, mean it. Let's get out of here. We got a long day to get through, a long week actually going through. So let's get into it. I'm thanking my mother-in-law Sharon for buying me this beautiful shirt that I can finally wear, thanks to me losing some weight. And I am going to talk to you guys, hopefully with less throat issues, tomorrow.